Alright, hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully this video works well because new system, new setup. I'm hoping it's going to do the job, but it's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the setup, not going to lie. I might put in the photo. So today we are doing a commander deck tech on good old Chatterfang, the new commander from Modern Horizons 2. He is the new Squirrel General. We've had a couple other generals that could be commander, but this is the real deal. He's powerful. He's actually competitive somewhat. So he's 3 mana, 3/3. You are black and green. You do have the black mana symbol on your abilities. He has Forest Walk, which kind of actually comes in handy. Just means you can't be blocked as long as the defending player has a forest, which we can abuse. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, create those tokens plus that mini 1/1 green squirrel tokens instead. So pretty much any token enters your battlefield, you get a squirrel token with it, like writing on the back. Thing to note, doesn't have to be creature tokens. It could be food, treasure, clues, any of those. Plus, pay 1 black mana, sacrifice X squirrel tokens. Target creature gets plus X, neg X to end the turn. This can be a buff or a removal. Could come in handy. So pretty much game plan is I've tried to keep this deck actually very flavorful. I want to be in the full-blown squirrel tribe. I'm quite heavily into green, probably like 90% green. So we've got a little bit of black here and there, but man, Squirrel Commander finally here. So a couple win conditions in this deck I want to try. Strixhaven Stadium. Pretty good in swarm decks, like token themed decks. Pretty much, it's a mana rock for 3 mana, nothing fancy. But whenever you have a creature deals combat damage to your opponent, put a point counter on it. When there's 10 or more, that player loses game. But if you take damage, you lose counters off it. But if you swing with a ton of tokens, hopefully you hit him for maybe 15 1/1s. Bang, maybe 10 counters, get them there. They're dead, free win. Triumph of the Horde gives your entire team infect. In this case, rabies. The squirrels have rabies. Easy win condition in a lot of your token decks. In good old Cradle of Behemoth, just buff them all, smash head, you'll probably win.
Where shall my blood be spilled? So
the actual squirrels, these are kind of grouped together by what they do in their kind of style. So first up are the Lords. We've got the brand new Squirrel Sovereign, just a little 2 mana 2/2 Lord effect, very cute, great card. Deep Forest Hermit, 5 mana, he's only 1/1, but he buffs all your squirrels. But he brings in 4 tokens on his own. But commander says, oh, cheers, buddy, have another 4 squirrel tokens. That's a lot of power on the board. He brings in, including himself, 9 power and toughness on the board. Just bang, here you go. Nut Collector just passively generates squirrel tokens during the game. But when you get Threshold online, you just buff them all by 2/2. Like, really good. Very expensive card. It is $40, but only because this command is kind of new hotness. It will hopefully go down in price over time. Adaptive Automaton, just a great card in this deck. Name Squirrel, buff your squirrels. Simple. Okay, the actual Chad Thundercock of squirrels. Earl of Squirrel. Yes, he's silver border, but he's not that nutty. He's not that silver. He's actually somewhat normal, except for the ability called Squirrel Link. Damage dealt by him also creates that many 1/1 green squirrel tokens. Plus your tokens, any other tokens you have are squirrels in addition to other types. And your squirrels get 1/1. He's pretty cool. I'm going to assume most play groups are going to allow him in. Let's be honest, he's awesome. Okay, the standalone squirrels. You got little Toski, the Bearer of Secrets. He's just a pain in the butt. He's 4 mana for 1/1. He's indestructible, can't be countered, has to take your turn, but if you get through, you get to draw a card. Nice. You've got Squirrel Wrangler, which can let you sack out lands to create tokens or buff tokens late game. There's just cycle your lands, go nuts. Squirrel Mob is a Relentless Rats in this deck. 1/1 for each other squirrel, but you can only have one in the deck, of course, kind of sucks. Scary Oak. So every time you evolve or put a counter on him, he's going to generate a squirrel token. Hopefully 2 thanks to your commander being out. We've got a couple ways to put counters on him, but mainly would be your Lord effects or Anthem effects. Buffing up your squirrels that enter pretty fat, and you get a free squirrel off him or 2. Draykeeper. It's just an elf druid, but it brings in 2 tokens with it, with your commander hopefully be 4. But you can pay 4 mana with him to buff all your squirrels, but mainly for menace. They just all get menace. That's going to be annoying for opponent to deal with. We've got a little colony. Really, with its ability of having 8 more lands, you're paying 2 mana for a 4/4 with a reach and a squirrel. He's honestly not bad. And then we've got Chatter Squirrel and Chatter Storm to help generate a lot of tokens if we can. Now, Cheetah Spitter. This is a bomb card. It's actually insanely strong. 3 mana artifact. Beginning your upkeep, you may sack a token, plenty of them. If you do, put an Acorn counter on it. Squirrels you control get 1/1 for each Acorn counter on it. Also, pay green, tap it, create a token. It's self-sufficient, you just keep cycling itself there. Pretty much, I like to think, Squirrel comes out, goes and gets Acorn, brings it back. Kind of that's what it's doing, building up the collection. Very powerful card, probably one of your key tutors if you want to. You've also got Acorn Catapult, which pay 1, ping something for 1 damage, and whatever you hit, the owner gets a squirrel token. Fine by me. I'm getting 2 with my commander. Thank you. Squirrel Nest is, Squirrel Nest. It's been around forever. It was kind of the main idea and the theme for people trying to play squirrels. That's where it really took off. And we do run Arbor Elf to untap land so we can keep abusing it if we want to later on. Acorn Harvest is 4 mana to create 2 squirrel tokens, but Commander says 4. 4 mana for 4 tokens, pretty good. And Flashback's actually really cheap, so that will produce a lot of tokens. The brand new Verna command, it's actually pretty cheap at only 2 mana instant. You pick 2, create 2 tokens, and probably going to go with game life. Squirrel Sanctuary is this weird enchantment which can basically keep going from the board back to your hand and keep going back and forth to generate tokens every time a non-token dies. It's not expensive and it might get you a few tokens across the length of the game. Totally realized I've got a double up Nut Collector, just ignore this guy.
Ma, they following me, Ma. They following me.
Who following you?
The bugs.
Okay, your non-squirrel tokens. Now, Scoot Swarm is actually very broken with your commander, especially when the landfall really starts getting off. So it's just a 3 mana 1/1 by default. Landfall is you create a 1/1 green insect token, but if you have 6 or more lands, you create a copy of Scoot Swarm itself, and the copy itself will have that landfall trigger. So at land 6 and higher, you're going to get copies of a creature that generate tokens that also generate more copies of themselves. Gets out of hand very quickly. With the commander, remember every token that's entering battlefield is bringing in squirrel tokens. Awakening Zone just generates a little Eldrazi spawn, which a little mana rocks basically that you need, but they're bringing squirrel tokens with them every turn. Creekwood Liege, he's going to Lord Effect everything in our deck, but also bring a worm token, which bring along the squirrel token. And then Tend to Shoot Drive. Again, same thing, it's just generating sapling tokens every turn, and that's going to bring the squirrel with it. Plus, when it gets to a certain point with Sitting's Blessing, it can Lord Effect its own sapling tokens, making them at least 3/3s. So Mycolith is kind of a big card in this deck. Devour 2, so everything eats, brings it 2 counters. At the beginning of your upkeep, create 1/1 green sapling tokens equal to the counters on it, which will be saplings plus a squirrel token for each counter on it. Let's say, comes into play, devours 10 squirrels, it has 20 counters on it. Beginning of your upkeep, you're going to create 20 saplings, which is also going to bring in 20 squirrels. You're going to have 40 tokens on the board. Just bam, deal with it. Avenger of Zendikar is just instant board presence, pretty much. All your plant tokens plus a squirrel. Just here you go, this is your problem. Some weird, interesting ones that aren't creature tokens. Witch's Oven is great. You just tap it, sack a creature, create a food token. Gonna sack a squirrel. You're making squirrel pie, just saying. But that token enters the battlefield, the food token, which brings a squirrel with it. So you can always replace a token that will never be lost. So you can use your tokens for unfavorable blocks all day long. Who cares? Because you're going to get the token right back with food. Spawning Pit's kind of a similar idea. Doesn't have a tap effect, so you can sack any number of squirrels. So pretty much you sack creature, put a charge counter on it, pay 1 to remove 2 charge counters to make a 2/2 spawn artifact token. That's going to bring a squirrel token with it. Let's say you lose creatures to unfavorable blocks, removal, board wipes, whatever. Just bank him up across the length of the game and rip all the counters off, make a ton of 2/2 tokens with squirrels again, recycling. The Plunderer is a $10 uncommon from Ixalan. What the hell? Whenever a creature you control dies, you create a treasure token. This is a bit broken with the squirrels, of course, because it's a creature token, it dies, it brings a treasure token, which then brings a squirrel back with it. It's just this never-ending loop. Can go infinite with a few other cards quite easily. The Provisioner, just landfall. You create food or treasure tokens, which again brings the squirrels. Lots of value right there, a very cheap, low CMC.
My faith is my shield!
Supporting themes. Now I've got Parallel Evolution and Second Harvest here because I don't want to run Doubling Season and Parallel Lives because those 2 enchantments together are $100. Why are they so expensive? Or I know why, they're really good. Parallel Evolution, double up the creature tokens in play. Everybody gets to go. And has flashback. And Second Harvest is just your tokens. Nissa does quite well here actually. She creates a plant token, which with the command will bring along a squirrel token. But, neg 2, just dump counters on everything you control. So buff up your army. If you've got Scurry Oak, the tree folk, that'll bring more squirrels into play. And then late game, just neg 7, draw a ton of cards hopefully. Nice and cheap, she comes out really early, just can sit there building up a board presence quite quickly. Coat of Arms works great in single tribe decks. Only downside is if your opponent's got a faster tribe than you, watch out because it buffs their stuff too. Let's say if they go goblins and they got Krenko out, not a good sign for you. But let's say you got 10 squirrels in play, they're going to be jacked as shit. They're going to be huge. Meriganda Petroglyphs, I love this card. No one ever plays with it. I've used it for years. Just vanilla creatures, get 2/2. Yes, it does apply for your opponents, but your little 1/1 squirrels are entering straight in as 3/3 chads. Like, it works. Then you got Sylvan Anthem, really cheap card. 2 mana, All your green creatures get 1/1, the whole deck basically. Whenever a green creature in the battlefield, it's scry 1. That's nuts in this deck. You can use all your little tokens to start really ciphering through your deck and getting what you need. For protection, my good old copy-paste tactic. Both my booties and Heroic Intervention just protect the commander and a couple other key things. That's all it's for. For tutors, the brand new Profane Tutor. I like it. It's cheap. It's only like $5-6. It's a tutor that you don't have to reveal and it's straight to hand. You just suspend it. Takes 2 turns to go off. 2 mana. I'm honestly fine with it. If it's your opening hand, what a great start. Natural Order. Unfortunately, you're going to go this printing, the Strixhaven one. All other natural orders are like $20-30. This one's like $9 because it's Strixhaven, you know. But sack a green creature, search a library for a green creature onto the battlefield. Bye-bye Squirrel into something better. Easy. Probably get one of your like big fat token producers, maybe Mycalith, eat a ton of tokens, or maybe Adventures End and just go, bam, this is your problem. For draw, I've kept it pretty simple and minimal. You've got little bits of draw here and there, so just a little bit extra never hurts. Harmonize, just draw 3 cards, staple. Fecundity, you lose a creature, or anyone loses a creature, they draw a card. Great when you have a commander that can eat its own little dudes. And for X-Arena, just for that passive draw. For just removal, I've got a bag of things, just whatever I usually run. This is subjective, it's all what you like. I like Deadly Relic, I've got a couple. They're free with your commander out, it's XR removal. Maelstrom Pulse just does well against things that have lots of copies or tokens on the board. Hero's Downfall, creatures or planeswalkers never hurts. Putrefies artifact of creatures. The Charm for Golgari. I think you can nuke little tokens like neg1, Reckon Enchantment, or regen creatures. Regenerating creatures never hurts with a big army. And Nature's Claim, just artifact enchantment destruction. Just things that help. Into mana. For Magical Mana rocks, nothing fancy, good old Sol Ring, both my signets. I do like Mind Stone and the Hedron Archive, draw later on when you want to sack him out. But your main mana rock is your Emerald Medallion. Just that's a green reduction for pretty much the entire deck. When it comes to actual ramp, love Half of the Season. With a token deck that you're trying to swing in there pretty hard, those little tap dudes may let you get 8 to 10 basic lands out of your deck in one go. I love Cultivating Kadama's Reach, just staples for cheap budget commander decks. Sylvan Scrying is a must-have. We've got a couple key lands which really do push this deck a little bit further, so having a card that can get non-basics is pretty handy. Cryptolith Right is nutty in a Squirrel deck because all your Squirrels tap for mana. Just mana isn't an issue anymore. Arbor Elf, like I said, works great with Squirrel Nest, just easy token production. Birds of Paradise feels great in the opening hand. Onto the lands. Probably your 2 most important lands in this deck, just period. Swarmyard and Yavimaya, the Cradle of Growth. Swarmyard, especially if you get Secret Lair Edition, just lets you tap, regen, target Squirrel. Your commander has protection, all your key squirrels have protection through a land. And then Yavimaya itself, it makes all lands a forest in addition to the other types. Your commander has Forest Walk, and it has a buffing ability built into itself. You can try and kill people with your commander quite easily with commander damage, because I can't block it now. Just very strong land. Plus it makes Arbor Elf being able to untap everything, including Swarmyard, so your Swarmyard can protect 2 creatures in a turn. And remember, any token brings in a squirrel, so even lands that can bring some tokens in do pretty good. The garden and the cabin bring in a little plant token and a food token, which will bring a squirrel with it in the land slot. Spawning Bed, your 6 mana to get 3 Eldrazi tokens out of it, but with your commander, that's 6 tokens for 6 mana in a land slot. I'm loving that. The Westvale Abbey, you can pay the 5 mana and a life to start making little clerics, but you'll probably have 5 tokens out at some point just to throw into it, and then bam, 9/7 demon. Hello. Things like War Room and the Castle, just drawing your land slots never hurt. Wreck Tower, not sure how I'm feeling about it in this deck. Like, you never really get that big of a hand size, but it never hurts to have it. Command Beacon, avoid your command attacks for once, especially good in decks where you really do rely on your commander. For color lands, this bit's just pick what you want. I don't like putting expensive multicolor lands in my decks, not my commander decks anyway. I think the most expensive one here is Nurturing Peatland. I think, what, $10 because it's a land that can draw. Everything else is a couple of dollars or under $1. And then for basics, I just got 6 and 9 for Swamp and Forest. You probably could lower the Swamp down a little bit and let the dual color cover you because you are quite heavily into green. Okay, that's it for Chatterfang. What a powerful commander. He does it all. He's cheap at 3 mana. He has evasion built in through Forest Walk, which will be pretty easy to get off. He can make tokens based on any other token. Doesn't have to be creature tokens, which is pretty powerful because you're seeing a lot more treasure, food, and clue tokens in Commander. He has a sack outlet built in. He can kill things and buff things with that sack outlet, and it's a token deck. It does quite a bit. Yeah, I'm happy to finally see a decent Squirrel Commander. Like I said earlier, there's been a few other Squirrel commanders before, but they're not that great. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts and have a good one. Ta-ta. It's good to be back guys. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the Squirrel Trouble, give the video a like, helps out the channel a lot. Please consider subbing. About 10 to 15% of our viewers are subs now. And to my patrons, I can't thank you enough. Marcus, you might not be a patron anymore, but you've been a patron. Chad, for that long, you are still a patron in my eyes. Thank you so much guys for your direct support.